Ah, okay. Hi, everybody. It's just about 7 o'clock, and so I thought we should get started. It's going to be kind of an easier evening today. Um, Last week and over the weekend, I've been doing a lot of training lately, and I just kind of need an easy day today. But that doesn't mean we're not going to get physical. Today is going to be a little revisit of our mindfulness. Um, Theme. Kat Hamilton was nice enough to work with me to create a little half-hour long yoga session. So the way which we will be airing tonight. And so what I want to do is first, hi everybody. I just want to check to see if folks are hearing me. Hearing me okay? Um, I'm going to try to monitor both the Facebook and um, um, yeah. So I'm gonna do my best. One thing while I'm waiting for feedback on whether or not you have sound, um, um, one of the thing. Okay, good. Thanks, Tina. Um, one of the things that is kind of exciting is that I've been able to figure out a little tool that helps me stream both on the YouTube and on the Facebook Live at the same time. So I think that's kind of great. One of the things I am working on as well is getting it out to other platforms, Twitch and all these other things. But the as the stream kind of goes out, one of the more difficult things kind of becomes managing all the chats. So for folks who want to participate more, if you are watching on the Facebook Live, I have posted on as a comment a link to the YouTube channel. So the easiest way for you to ask me questions right now is actually through the YouTube live chat or in the Discord. If you pop a comment into the Facebook, I will do my best to catch it. It can be a little difficult for me simply because I don't have everything in one spot. So I apologize if that ends up being the case. Let me know also how this quality is in general. But anyway, again, it's a work in progress, and so hopefully this will be something new and exciting. Um, so, as we get kind of started and waiting for more people to arrive, one of the things I just want to kind of explain how things are going on my here, and just how I'm preparing more material. I'm going to be checking in with Rob Rashi later this week about just kind of for some dojo news and etc. etc. See how things are going there, and so I'll have hopefully more news for you next week. And as I said last week, so we're still doing the Zoom classes on Fridays. Uh, um, um, so still doing the Zoom classes on Fridays, and so the way that's working is I give the class live, and that is posted, and that's free if available through the Sword Class NYC website. And I record those classes. As of last week, I'm going to start recording those classes. And for the recording, you only see me. You don't see folks on the other side. And those recordings are then posted in the Teachable, the Sword Class online, NYC online at the Teachable, and so that's as a way for reference. I'm not quite sure how folks are registering for that. I don't really know what it's like on the consumer side, but I've been posting those there as a subscription basis there. I want to just again thank everyone who's been donating money to the Ko-Fi. It has been really lovely. All the support has been really. I'm really thankful for all the support. For everyone who's subscribed to the Teachable and everyone who's again been donating to the Ko-Fi. It really does help a lot. So what I wanted to do today was kind of open up in general any questions or any topics anyone wanted to talk about. And I'll probably do this for about, depending on how the questions are coming in. Um, uh, um, and then we'll kick into the yoga video. Okay. And regarding the teachable things, I have a new not new curriculum, but like a curriculum written out that I'm going to be filming over the next couple of weeks and be posting them as I go. It's going to be what I refer to as my Longsword 102, my intermediate longsword curriculum. I am really excited about it because it both gets at the root of some real foundational, real fundamental fencing in a way that allows us, that I think will really fit into our mindful practice kind of approach, as well as, and it will work its way up into the really cool Lichtenauer stuff. So I have some folks that are going to be helping me do that. I was hoping to do it originally I was hoping to do it this week, and then the weather looked terrible, and now it's going to be gorgeous all week. So I'm just going to plan on shooting it next week, and then it can rain on me the entire time. So yeah, so there's going to be a lot more videos coming up on the on the Teachable. I'm super excited for the content that I've put together and had a little bit of some really good feedback on. So it's just about 7 after. I wanted to open up the floor and just see, are there topics or anything that anyone wants to talk about. So waiting on my coffee. Oh, great. Yeah. The Udalev book is great. When they have it in stock, I actually bought a copy of it for the school. I believe Dina has that right now. So we can leave it in the library at the school, and they had them in stock, and it shipped within a couple of days. The first time I ordered it, though, they did not have them in stock, and it took, I think, a month for me to get my copy. Yeah, so in general, so folks here or let's see, or let me see, in the Discord here, if there's any, yeah, so if folks have any questions, let me know. I'm just gonna anyone else? Is anyone else getting the centipede thinking about walking syndrome on repeated drills where your ability to do the thing breaks down? Oh yeah, I get that all the time. One of the things I've had to kind of do with the repeated drill stuff is kind of constantly, and I know it's maybe a little difficult because I haven't posted a variety of drills, but when I do kata from my Eastern sword study, I have to switch between them very frequently, or not frequently, but once my mind starts drifting, I have to give myself a slightly different homework assignment, or pick one little thing to work on, and then work that until I either until I completely reset the gears a little bit. Comment on Sam's comment on Discord. Let me see. Observation / discussion point at St. Peter the Apostle. And okay, that's hilarious. People keep changing my name. And the observation / discussion point. Others have previously talked about the importance of lateral circular movement to avoid getting seriously / injured / dead. In Chittister's new translation of 3227a, there's a couple of instances where the glosstor states that you should step around to the right before striking. So that you aren't attempting to bull straight into them, and one of them is first chunks of the gloss after the cell. I can't recall. Okay. I found this interesting since I don't recall really coming up with other Freck books except in the context of Jekyll and Krumpau, where stepping aside is part of the technique. It also doesn't seem like what a lot of people do. I'm bad at this as well. Maybe it's a function of people not reading. I think it's I think that's a really good point. Circular footwork, I think, is always going to kind of bring a lot of a lot of questions to the table. And my initial, I think, statement is. Oh no, Justin! I appreciate you posting it there. That is actually very helpful to have it here, especially since not all folks will be able to see the Discord. I think that circular footwork isn't given its due, but I also always kind of come back to the state. Everything is case by case. It all depends on who your opponent is and what they're doing. But moving right and left is actually, or moving in a circular way. Um, um, I don't think is discouraged in the Zettel or in many of the glosses. I think one of the things that a reason that a lot of people maybe don't do it as much is because it's not definitively stated. Well, move in a circle to do these things until later sources. We don't really have that information, and one of the biggest gaps in a lot of longsword, be it Fiore or Lichtenauer, in my opinion, is that it's is the emphasis until we get to like some of the silver stuff and to a certain degree uh, are details of all this, right? One of the interesting things about the way the glosses are written is that they're talked, there's still someone kind of in a pseudo cryptic way or talking in a mindset that we're not familiar with. We have some context, but not all of the context for what they were attempting to say. And I am, if you look in the Vorrede, the forward for for the Zettel, or even for the most of the glosses, it talks about moving right and then left when you fence. And so, there's a way one could also interpret that. Like a lot of what they're saying in the Zettel is they don't have the ability to teach. The way they're teaching is kind of weird, not weird, but very different than we would teach now. They're not necessarily teaching straightforward. They're kind of do this, and here's a bunch of examples of what we're trying to say. One always has to take into context the way that information was transmitted in the written word at the time. So that's why I really go back to Stücke being demonstrations, because it's not a full-on bulleted list. It's this example. We're saying this, and we're trying to demonstrate what we're trying to say here. And so, I mean, I use circular, like, not we all kind of circle our enemies sometimes. And I think it also depends on what you're trying to do, in terms of offensive and defensive work. I mean, like I said, I tend to use circular footwork for moving in and out. So I guess that's my personal opinion on that. Especially as a smaller fencer, I find that I have to use circular footwork very often in order to kind of work my way around taller fencers. And also to avoid them when they buffalo. Yeah, I wish I had a better help for the body motion stuff. The only thing I could say is go back to basics, practice kind of some of the earliest drills that we were taught in regards to moving the body. I think that the lockdown is kind of affecting us in all different weird ways. So both physically and mentally. So my whole thing is bring everything back to the basics and then work up and try to remember what everything remember rediscover those body muscle and those muscle memories. Oh, I mean, it might be the fact that I'm doing this double thing. I'm gonna close my window here. Okay. Yeah, is it buffering? Is the buffering really bad? If it's really, really bad, I can switch it up. But oh, okay. I had the Facebook window open, and I think it was just too much video for my poor laptop to uh, uh, um, to do. Yeah, I mean, in terms of like the predictability in footwork, it's kind of, for me, a lot of it comes into I just you just start making assumptions and kind of stick through the decisions and then like do the best you can from the moment from there. Um, and also, one thing to think about as well in terms of movement is the idea of where is your weight on your feet, and not letting your feet go flat and not putting too much weight forward or too much weight back. I think that would be something interesting. I think that to play with that, and I'd be interested in hearing if that you find that helpful. And also the idea. One of the things I'm always trying to think of is my Zanshen, like the Kampfgeist, the idea of yes, they want to move, but they're going to move the way I want them to move. Just try kind of projecting certain things. I find that when I do light circling, it ends up recentering to a certain degree because the person is they are moving away from me, and then it just turns into this weird loop-de-loop. But that happens. Um, but it is also something worth playing. But yeah, the mechanics of it can be. It's about selling it, and also about being a little more aware of the feet on the floor and where the weight is. Anything else, folks? A good drill actually is doing the footwork from the hanging parry drill, in which the kind of broadsword hanging parry drill, in which you step forward, you advance to strike, and then retire to ward. You know, I think that is also a very good, and then increasing that speed, but also again thinking about uh, um, kind of thinking about where your feet and weight are during that entire time. So it's like forward to strike, back to parry, forward to strike, back to parry, and then increasing, and that can be something that's good just to works the cores, and it's like a very, very simple thing, and that is also that also occurs in the first drill that I sent or posted in the Discord. Any advice for practicing balance and footwork? You know, the classic standing on one foot drill. And also, you know, just in terms of practicing the footwork, I would say, you know, come up with a pattern of forward and backward steps and triangle steps. And this is something I can try to do as well. Is having like a series of footwork to practice, and not so much dance, but kind of choreographed nonetheless, and then experimenting with the weight and the pressure that you're putting on such things. Additionally, something else you can do is if you tape a string to your ceiling and make like a little tennis ball pell, one thing that you could practice doing is swaying that tennis ball back and forth, and then kind of move back, and then kind of like do a pendulum, like kind of a pendulum drill with the tennis ball. So you move forward and back, depending on following the tennis ball, and you can do that at different speeds. And I think that's kind of helpful. And you can kind of, and that was also nice about having it taped to the ceiling, is that you can kind of, and it being a tennis ball and a string, you can kind of bat it around and get a little more random action going on. Yeah, oh yeah, Dina brings up a good thing. We accidentally discovered that she has these devil sticks, which are for like juggling and tricks and such. Make really, really good light training tools, especially for Messer. They're covered in a silicone it's like a rubber kind of casing, when it's fascinating because they bind. So definitely want to experiment with some different silicone mixtures. I know that there's some supplies I could be looking at and possibly making, taking some trainers that we have and covering them in silicone and making them bind, which I think is really cool. I think Dina has a link for those. They I don't think they'd withstand like any very serious sparring, but they're really good. We were doing the machete warding drill in the park the other day, and I was really, really impressed at how well they bound. So that's something to think about. And also, you know, again, in terms of training gear, you know, I want to encourage folks to possibly invest in some rattan, because I think we'll be doing a lot of that in the near future. And maybe if I might pick up some extra rattan from Purple Heart, and if I can find if I can find the one vendor for visual effects makeup, I'll order some silicone putty or silicone liquid. We can cover some rattan in it and see if we can get that to stick too. It was really interesting. And it really changes the dynamic of something like the machete warding drill, when all of a sudden your knives stick to each other. It was very, very, really educational. A lot of fun. All right. Well, it's just about 7:25 now. So if there aren't any... Oh, okay. I will... Complete Sculptor is a great source of liquid silicone. Okay, I'll look that up. Thank you. I will look into that, because that could be very, very helpful. All right, folks. So I have, like I said before, we have a yoga video here for everyone. So what I'm going to do is turn you over to, I'm gonna put in this cassette tape, or this VHS tape, and we will have get ready to do some yoga. And also, this is a really, I'll post this video separately, but it is a really, really good source of just a nice relaxing breathing technique and some very basic yoga poses to help you warm up, and also practicing mindfulness. Something that comes up quite a bit. I'll be back in about 20 minutes about 20 minutes, but I'm going to play this video for you. And then we'll close it out. So grab a pillow, grab a blanket, and or a yoga mat, and enjoy. All right, let me find the tape.
Here. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about mindfulness as it applies in yoga and help everyone to apply that to their sword practice. Something that's been a running theme in all of Peter's AMAs and in his discussion with Tristan a few weeks ago is the idea of mindfulness as it applies to our sword practice. Something that I've discovered in myself for mindfulness is I've been practicing yoga. I've been practicing yoga for about 10 years. Multiple times a week. I'm no expert, but it's something that I've done to unwind, de-stress, and to promote more mindfulness in myself. And what that means to me is body awareness and being able to be present in the moment and not just going through the motions. Something that we talk about in swords is not just performing the motions to perform the motions, but having intent. And in yoga, you don't want to slam your body into poses. You're not performing the motions for the sake of performing the motions. You're performing the motions while also being aware of what your breathing is doing, being aware of what your body is doing, and being aware of different parts of your body at the same time, which sounds harder than it actually is. So if you're new to yoga, welcome. We're going to have a great time. If you have practiced yoga plenty, welcome. We're going to have a great time. I invite you to join me on a mat or just on the floor. If you don't have a mat, that's totally fine. You can do this without a mat. We're going to be doing some really basic things that are going to help to promote mindfulness, body awareness, breathing exercises. So very basic. If you're a more advanced yoga student, I would welcome you to take this opportunity to really practice mindfulness and really try to be as aware of what your body is doing as possible. So grab a mat, grab a towel you can fold or a blanket, or if you have a pillow is a really great thing to have. And we're going to sit on the floor in a cross-legged position. And you can just put your pillow, your blanket, your towel underneath your butt. And that really helps to elevate the hips just a little bit and make sitting in this position for an extended period of time a little more comfortable. So first and foremost, I'm going to sit up nice and tall, almost as if there's a string pulling through the top of your head. Your crown of your head, your neck, your shoulders, your spine are all in alignment. Not like ramrod straight, but gently straight. Your hips are also factored into that. Bring your hands to just kind of rest gently on your knees and close your eyes. And just take a minute. Really examine how you feel. Is there any part of your body that's feeling uncomfortable? Is there anything that's in pain? Are you feeling excited, nervous, just bleh, been working at home all day? And just take a moment, quiet moment, to really think about how your body feels. And log that information, because we're going to come back to it at the end. Now I'd like to take everybody through something called alternate nostril breathing. It sounds very silly, but I find this to be a really calming practice, and it really helps me to focus. I'm very much a thought cloud person. So if you tell me, just empty your mind, I can't really do that because it's really hard to turn off the cloud. So something that I do is maybe if I can't turn off the cloud, I'm going to examine the cloud and use it to focus on something else. And focusing on my breathing is a really great gateway to calming all of the other things that are floating around and being more aware of what my body is doing. So, not shutting off the cloud, not turning off thoughts, but being aware that thoughts are there and turning that attention to something else. So, you're going to retain, you're sitting up nice and tall, and you're going to take your thumb and either your middle finger or your ring finger, whichever, and we're going to be alternating covering one nostril while breathing through the other. So take your thumb, cover one nostril, and you're going to breathe in. Hold it for a second. Cover your other nostril, uncover, and breathe out through that nostril. Breathe in through the same nostril. Hold it. Cover the other one, uncover, and breathe out. It's a little bit uncomfortable at first, but as you practice it, it gets a little bit easier. And I know right now it's allergy season, so it's a little hard to breathe in and out through the nostrils, but this actually does help to clear things out. So we're going to take a few moments to practice that. When you get a little more comfortable with it, you can close your eyes. If you lose the rhythm and you need to just for a second, totally okay. Just jump back in. So I'm going to breathe in. Pause at the top. Now take a deep breath through both nostrils and out through your mouth. Now think about, did you notice if you're thinking about anything else, or were you just focusing on breathing? Because for me, because I have to actively think, it helps you to focus on your breathing. You can't think about anything else in that time. Air is coming in and going out, and everything's a little more relaxed. Now that we've chilled out a little bit with our breathing, we're going to continue bringing that breathing through everything else we're doing, but we're going to start to move the body a little bit more. Something that I notice happening to me because I'm working from home in front of a computer, which I'm sure a lot of you are right now. Zoom is all the rage, is the neck and the shoulders get a lot of tightness. And this is something I also experience a lot in my sword practice if I'm not being extra careful and extra mindful of how I'm swinging the sword around, particularly when we're doing warm-up cuts and a lot of cuts in quick succession. I find that if I start just kind of going through the motions and not thinking about it, I do get a lot of tension in the neck and shoulders and then like pain the next day. So this is something that we can all apply to our sword practice and also to our work situation, if that's what your work situation is right now. So what we're going to do is just roll the shoulders. We're going to start pulling up to the ears and rolling all the way back. Rolling forward, up to the ears and back. Forward, up to the ears and back. Now we're going to go the other way. Up to the ears and forward. We're going to bring breath into it. Up and forward, out. Reverse directions. And up and back and up Good. Next stretch we're going to do is you're going to take your right arm, swing it behind you, grab onto it with your left hand. Now you've kind of made a like chicken wing with your left arm. I want you to take your head and tilt it towards the side with the chicken wing. And you're going to feel a stretch all through here. You don't have to pull super hard in order to feel the stretch, but you'll feel it. Yeah, if you tilt towards the chicken wing. Now look up. Oh, stretch is a little bit different. Then look down. Then back at me. And release. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. Remember, we're not just pulling ourselves into this position. We're mindfully entering into that position with the concentration that this is a neck stretch. So I'm thinking about how I'm stretching my neck. So I'm leaning my head towards my now right chicken wing. Look up. You feel the stretch go a little bit differently. Tilting my chin down. It stretches another part of my neck. And back at me. And release. All right. Now we're going to say goodbye to our pillow, blanket, towel, whatever you have. We'll come back to it later. And we're going to come gently to all fours. So something you can do is just kind of roll forward or just get here however you want to get here. So again, being super mindful with our positioning, you're going to make sure that your wrists are underneath your shoulders, your knees are underneath your hips, fingers are spread wide so that you don't feel any tension, and your spine is in a neutral position. So we're going to do a little bit of cat-cow, which I'm sure people are familiar a little bit with cat pose. This is going to be stretching our back in both directions. So focus your attention, your mindfulness onto stretching out your back. So we're going to breathe in. You're going to drop the belly and round the spine. This is the cow. And we're going to exhale and go the other direction for the cat, starting with the lower spine and just rounding out. Get it up nice and high. Feel that stretch. You can wiggle around a little bit. All right. And inhale, drop the belly, go up. And exhale, go the other way. And inhale. And exhale. And do a couple on your own, in your own time. Inhale. And exhale. Just on your own. Great. Going to come into a neutral spine. Going to move the hands a little bit forward. Curl your toes under because we're going to move into downward dog. So you're going to want to have your toes under, and we're going to gently lift the knees and up into a downward dog. So you're trying to get your upper body to push towards your legs. Your fingers are spread wide to take the tension out of your wrists. The inside of your elbows should point forward. And if your heels can't touch the floor, that's okay. Mine can't. I've been doing this for years and I still can't touch my heels to the floor. It is a work in progress, just like everything. So we're in our nice downward dog for 3, 2, 1. Great. Gonna slowly step your feet forward. We're gonna walk towards our hands. It's okay if you want to come up on the fingertips to make that a little bit easier. And we're gonna be in a forward fold. This is the like touch your toes position. If you can't touch your toes, that's okay. You can bend your knees a little bit to get your fingers on the ground. And over time, you'll be able to straighten out the legs, but that is a work in progress. I'm just going to hang out here for a second. Should feel a nice stretch in the back of the legs and in the calves. Should feel a nice stretch in the back too. And just take a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And in through the nose and out through the mouth. We're going to gently start rolling up. So we're going to get into a standing position, just super slow. Let's see how slow you can unroll yourself. Nice and slow. I like to take my fingers and just kind of trace them for the front of my legs to remind myself to go a little bit slower. Get to a standing position. Your head should be the last thing up, and up it goes. So now what we're going to do is a really basic sequence of yoga poses that we're going to be doing mindfully. We're going to be doing some sun salutations. And once we do just very basic series of sun salutations, then we're going to finish with some stretches on our backs. And then we'll go back to a seated position and take stock of where we are at the end as opposed to how we started at the beginning. So now I'm going to take you through our sun salutations. So we're going to take a deep breath in while raising our arms in the air. And bringing them down to prayer position at your heart. Good. And in. Now we're going to come down all the way forward. Again, it's okay to bend your knees to touch the floor. I'm going to just hang out here for a couple of breaths. All right, with a breath, we're going to halfway. So I'm putting my hands on my upper thighs and making my back into a bit of a table. And then with an exhale, we're going to go back down. We're going to inhale all the way back up at the sky, and exhale back down to our hearts. We'll do that again. And down. Inhale up and down. And inhale, reach for the sky. And back down to your heart. Now we're going to start adding a little bit. Every time we repeat that motion, we're going to be adding a little bit more as we go. Ready? Inhale. And exhale. Down. Inhale halfway. Exhale down. We're going to step back to the top of a push-up. And on an exhale, just lower down to the belly. Inhale. Lift up your upper body. This is Cobra. And exhale. Down. Curl the toes. Inhale. Up to a plank. And into your downward dog. We're back here again. And I like to pedal the feet a little bit. So I have my legs straight. I dip the right knee down. Straighten my left leg. I feel a deep stretch in my calf. And then I switch. Straighten the right leg. Dipping the left knee. Feeling the stretch in my right side. And switch. And switch. Straighten out both legs. We're going to very slowly walk towards our hands to the top of the forward fold. Inhale halfway up. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up. And exhale to your heart. I'm going to add a little bit more. Inhale. And exhale. Down. halfway and down. Step to your top of a push-up. Inhale. And exhale down to the belly, or if you're feeling fancy, chaturanga, upward facing dog. Inhale. And exhale, we're gonna get to our downward facing dog. Yeah. And pedal the feet, stretch those calves. Now let's walk up slowly again. We're walking, taking a little walk up to the top. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up. Reach for the sky, stretch it out, and down to the heart. Now we're going to add some warrior poses. Gonna get fun. Let's go. Ready? Inhale up. Exhale all the way down. And down. Step it back to your plank. Inhale. Exhale. Lower down. Inhale up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Gonna take your right foot and we're gonna swing it up into the air for a three-legged dog. I felt a crack in my lower spine. Maybe you did too. It's good crack. Inhale. Exhale, we're gonna bring it up between our hands. If you don't quite make it, that's okay. Take your foot and just reposition it. No big deal. So we're in a low lunge. I'm going to turn my back heel sideways so that I can come up. Warrior one. Fantastic. You've made it. Knee over ankle. Back foot sideways. Leg is straight. Transition to warrior two. All I'm doing is arms here and swinging it. Legs stay the same. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale back to warrior one. Exhale. Down. Put your hands on the floor first. Turn your back foot so that you're back in this lunge. Hands on the floor so you can bring it back. Downward dog. Gonna do the exact same thing, other side. Inhale your left foot up now. Three-legged dog. And exhale all the way forward. Nice low lunge. Turn the back foot. So we're gonna do the same thing. Bring it up. Warrior one. Same thing. Knee over your ankle. Back leg straight. And warrior two. It's important to keep in mind that your arms should be at the same level, not or not or Everything's nice and straight. Your arms are at the same level or as close as you can. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Up to warrior one. And exhale. All the way down. I'm going to turn that foot so that I'm back in my low lunge. Plant my hands on the floor. Bring it back. Downward facing dog. We're going to take our feet. We're going to start walking towards the top. Here we go. To our forward fold. Inhale halfway up. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up. And exhale at the heart. Gonna pause for a second. Think about how you feel. For me, get my heart going a little bit. Getting a little bit sweaty. Just think about your fingers pressing together. Think about your feet with full contact on the floor. Inhale halfway up. Exhale down. Step it back into your plank. Last chance for your chaturanga, or if you want to lower to the belly and go to cobra, maybe I'll do that this time. Cobra. And then up into your downward dog. This time we're going to gently lower our knees to the floor. And come back into seated position. Now we're going to transition to doing some things laying on our backs. We're going to do a couple of stretches. We're going to do some relaxation. So just kind of gently swing the legs around. I'm going to scoot up on my mat a little bit. And just hands behind your knees, just gently roll down. Just very gently. Just come to a relaxed position on your back. Take your shoulder blades. Just snuggle them down behind you. You should make sure that you feel the mat just entirely underneath you, supporting you. Going to take your knees and bring them up towards your chest, and I'm going to do the same thing with my lower back. I'm going to scoop my tailbone up a little bit so I feel my entire back touching. There shouldn't be, you can kind of tilt your pelvis forwards and backwards, and you can kind of feel where a little bit of space opens up behind my spine, or a little too much space opens up underneath my tailbone. You can kind of dial in that position. So I've dialed in my position. My back is fully touching the mat. And we're going to do some ankle stretches, and we're going to do one of my favorite stretches, which is going to be stretching our bum. So first, let's do some ankle work. I'm going to take my hands, wrap them around my right knee, send my left leg all the way out to rest on the mat. You're going to feel a stretch through the front of your hip and your hip flexor. We're going to take our right ankle, just kind of draw circles. This is one that's really important. You can't just go through the motions. You have to exercise mindfulness. You have to concentrate on your toes. Maybe like reach with your toes and stretch them out. You're going to rotate the ankle just one direction and the other direction. Really concentrating on stretching out the ankle, the foot. I also feel this a little bit in my calf. I'm going to bring my left leg back up, and I'm going to switch. I'm going to let this right leg go out long, and oh yeah, I already feel the stretch here. Much needed. I'm going to do the same thing. Roll my ankle around, really putting a lot of thought and energy into that ankle. Spreading the toes, just kind of stretching. Cool. I'm going to bring my right leg back up to meet it. And I'm going to lower those legs. Boop. Touchdown on the mat. Take a moment, reassess. Are your shoulders coming up? Just bring them back down. Mine do that too. So it's good to take a second, just kind of reevaluate where your body is. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stretch out our butt, and it's going to be just like stretching out the back body. This is a reclined pigeon, for those who want to know. I'm going to take my right leg, just kind of bring it up and cross it over my left knee. I have my foot not pointed, just kind of a flexed foot. I'm going to take my hands, I'll lift this up, and I'm going to reach through. Looks a little pretzel-y, but if you just kind of, if you have to come up a little bit, grab it, come back down, that's fine too. So immediately you're going to feel stretching in here, which is really good. I suffer from sciatica, so this is an excellent stretch for me, or anybody who experiences any like pinching or tightness in the lower back. Just be careful if you do before you try this, but definitely it helps me with my lower back pain. So I'm just concentrating on pulling gently, and then when I feel it, like, oh, I feel it, then I can stop. Just kind of hold it there and breathe. I'm keeping my feet flexed and active, so I'm not forgetting about them because they're still attached. Just being aware of where my shoulders are, being aware of how my feet are, and being aware of the stretch. If you find that you need a little more, you can always straighten this leg and you can get this hamstring at the same time. It's fine if you can't do this. Stay here. Just work here. Even if you're at the complete far range, you're just barely holding on, you got to grab onto your pants to do this, you're still going to get something out of it. Inhale and exhale. Let's unravel and bring the legs down. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. Bring the leg up, cross it over. Going to have a flexed foot. Going to bring our hands and thread the needle. There we go. Again, active, flexed feet. My shoulders are snuggling down and they're relaxed. I'm pulling gently and I'm feeling that stretch all through here. Now, this is my tighter side, so I have a harder time with this side, but you just do your best. Keeping awareness in the feet. And again, if you want to stretch the hamstring, go for it. If not, just rock here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to gently unravel and bring our feet to the ground. Now is my favorite yoga pose. Anybody can do this yoga pose. We're going to straighten the legs out. We're going to snuggle those shoulder blades down. Let your arms rest at your side. Just comfortably. Mine, in order to be at neutral, just kind of spread out a little bit this far. You might be here, you might be here. Just bring your arms and feet until they feel nice and relaxed and neutral. You're going to feel the ground underneath you supporting you. And just inhale and exhale. Try to still keep that awareness in different parts of your body. A good exercise to do here is to just bring your concentration from part to part. So I might be thinking about my fingertips, and then I really feel them very acutely. And then I might travel that awareness to my hips. And then I might bring that awareness down to my toes. And practice thinking about different parts and see how that feels. It's an interesting sensation to be really, really aware of your fingertips, but it helps you to be aware that they're there and everything is connected. And being able to be aware of something, a part of your body, is going to help you when you have a sword in your hands, if you're aware of your hands. We're going to take a couple more breaths here. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. And that helps to kind of wake you back up. To get up from here, we're going to go super slow, super gently. You don't want to undo all that good we just did. So you're going to gently roll over onto your side like you're, don't want to get out of bed yet. No. Take a second here. And then just gently come up. And we're going to go back to our cross-legged position from the beginning. If you want to grab that towel, blanket, pillow, whatever you brought, now is a really good time. Here we go. We're going to do the same thing that we did right at the beginning. We're going to make sure that there's a string pulling from the top of your head, your neck, your back, your hips is all in alignment and comfortable. And just take a moment here, close your eyes. We're going to really examine how we feel. Do you feel different than when we started? Do you feel more mindful, more aware? Just take some deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Ready? the eyes. We're going to bring our hands to our hearts. Thanks so much for joining me. It's been really lovely to share this with you. I hope that you take this experience and translate the mindfulness of yoga into mindfulness for sword practice. I think there are a lot of good stretches that we went over today that you can use when you need to stretch out from your practice or just stretch out from your day. I hope that everybody is taking care out there, getting through this. We're all going to get through this together. And don't forget to be mindful during your practice. Don't just be a sword-wielding zombie. If you put awareness and mindfulness into what your body is doing, then you're going to improve as a swords person, a martial artist. Take one more deep breath. Exhale and bow. Feel a stretch in your neck. Namaste. Thanks.
All right, and I'm back. I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and just wanted to do a little bit of a sign off and check in with everyone. I have a bunch of, like I said earlier, a bunch of fun things planned and a bunch of really interesting solo practice, good solo practice, which I folks, especially in HEMA, are always looking for coming up. This Friday, we'll be doing our second lesson of the first drill set for longsword fencing. And let's see what else. Work aside from that, a couple other more Squinting Rabbit videos are coming down the line. We have some science-related videos finally. And we're going to be working with a number of folks to bring you some more interesting content for Tuesdays and beyond. So if there's something that you want to talk about in particular, or either one-on-one, we can record a video stream, or if there are videos you would like to see conversations about, please contact me via the Discord, or email, or Facebook, etc., etc., etc. We'll try putting something together. Or if you have a skill or a topic you want to talk about or share, let me know. We can record something either responsibly, socially distancing in person, or we can set up some type of whatchamacallit, some type of Zoom. I hate to use or video conferencing some conferencing video discussion or demonstration. I want to make sure that everyone who has something to share gets to share it. And also thank you to the random Ko-Fi, for the random person who donated the Ko-Fi. You'll see here there's a little link to my Ko-Fi. This is helping me have the resources to keep doing bigger and bigger projects. As you notice, starting to be able to do graphics and some music and such. And again, it helps keep me going during the quarantine pandemic while my job is furloughed or non-existent. No one's really sure. But again, and so yeah, so I'm gonna kind of leave it here. I hope everyone is doing well. Feel free to contact me again on the Discord, social media, email, phone, what have you. If you have any questions regarding HEMA or any subject suggestions or anything else that you want to collaborate and share, also feel free to just reach out and say hi. Things can feel very isolating. It's easy to feel very isolated right now, but know that you're not alone, and I'm here to lend you an ear. So that being said, have a great night, everybody, and I really look forward to Friday and next Tuesday. And yeah, have a great night. Bye.